Okay, go.
Right, fans, here we are, we're in the southern outback with the magical Johnson Johnson motion capture expert. He's training, obviously, for the next episode of Jay Hurts. I'm hoping we can get an interview with him. Let's go see if he'll play ball. Johnson! 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 Hi, how you doing? I was just hoping we could get an interview with you. Would that be okay?
Thanks, mate. Let's go back to the house.
I can't keep up. Bloody hard work being Jay Hurts.
Okay, action.
So, Johnson, done a bit of research, obviously, for the interview for the fans, and I understood that you were doing this for 14 months training. Was that for episode 4?
It depends. I actually originally got approached by Tim about 2.5 years ago, and I quite liked the idea, and so I sort of started looking into ways to sort of develop it from there. But officially, I've been training sort of hardcore for 14 months.
What kind of mental training are you going through? Are you locking yourself in a dark room for days on end, or going to caves? How are you preparing for the? I mean, obviously Jay is a little bit dark.
It took, I think, 23 years to turn Jay into the person he is now.
Right.
I've had to do it for 14 months, so you can imagine that.
Cramming it all in.
Yeah, it was very, very intense and quite disturbing a lot of times. I've heard stories about, when people go to war and they can sort of handle the war there and then, but coming home it's sort of a flashback.
Yeah.
But coming home it's sort of the flashbacks that, really stop them from being able to fit into normal society, and that worries me a tiny bit, if I'm completely honest. But, you can't act that, you can't play that person without having some experience of it. I needed to, if you can imagine, I used to be...
like mental hospitals and interview, certain people with the similar symptoms of Jay.
No, there's no one like Jay. I had to become a different person. I've had to become a different person. It's torn me apart in many, many ways.
Yeah.
It worries me a kind of bit. I used to be quite... Jay Hurts is the kind of guy who has a severe dislike for himself.
Right.
Now, that kind of dislike, that kind of core hatred, it cannot be displayed without truly feeling it, and to truly feel it you need to experience it fully with your entire body all the time.
But in the previous episodes it comes across as quite restrained. It's held back. It's not. I don't think we've seen its full potential yet.
I think the wonderful thing about Jay is just how much turmoil he is able to restrain, and just how much he's able to hold back. I used to be the kind of guy who was quite confident, who quite liked himself.
Right.
I've had to, if you can imagine, dismantle that and put in its place something quite dark, and then the mask over the top of something that almost fits in. And there's this thing where you sort of model someone, and as a result you sort of put your mind inside of their mind and really start begin thinking.
Transfer it physically.
Yeah, and so the way you do that is you just start acting like them, even breathing in the same rate they breathe, that sort of thing, and as a result you can really start getting inside someone's mind. I can't really say too much about it.
I understand that during the blue screening you'll be wearing the motion capture suit.
Basically this suit is a very, very new and exciting way of doing motion capturing, if you will. Scott Everson, you see something behind me, designed it. It's what the process is, what he calls it is temporal expressive motion mapping, skeletal capture process design, or TEMSCPT for short. What it is, it's a very, very cheap and inexpensive way of capturing my movement onto screen to be later animated. This is a hugely reduced way of doing it, and getting, in my opinion, far superior results.
Does it weigh a lot? Does it add to the stress of the... does it help, if anything? Obviously
The great thing about the motion capture suit is it's quite tight and very restrictive.
Okay.
And if you can imagine, it's like when it's on, it sort of hugs the skin, and it's like the hatred can't get out. It stays within.
Nice.
Does that make sense? And
Yeah.
so for me, you know, when I put on that motion capture suit, it's sort of
The new persona.
it's a new persona, but also, you know, I kind of feel safe that I'm not going to hurt anyone else when I'm there doing that. I like to get out of character as much as possible, and it's quite difficult when I have to constantly be in character. 15 hours a day leaves only 9 hours a day to kind of relax and unwind, which isn't really enough for me to sort of reset who I am. So, yeah, that's a bit of a problem. But you do what you've got to do. Basically, this interview is only taking place because once more I've got to wait around for someone else to actually, Tony, don't do that, for someone else to actually catch up with all the things I'm doing, but that's fine. So, yeah, brilliant.
The fans, obviously, for previous episodes, have really enjoyed the characters. Obviously, Tim has written them in, but have you had any influence on this? I mean,
The different sides or the different parts of Jay Hertz.
the clown, for
yeah,
example.
I enjoyed playing the clown. That's the person Jay Hertz would like to be if he so could. Whether or not he'll ever get there, who knows, but that's the person I'd like to be. It was nice learning how to moonwalk and then sort of doing that for the motion capturing. It was nice, you know, learning other clown skills. You know, I can juggle now, which I'm looking forward to showing my children. You know, if you can imagine, I don't look like Jay, so everything that I have to do
Is it hard
for
to stay
them.
focused when you're, you know, in the studio, surrounded by the cameras and the, you know, the computers? Is it hard to stay focused?
No. Fucking moron.
It's just a question, Johnson. These are just sent to me by email.
I'm sorry. It's okay, it's okay.
It's really getting to you, this. I mean, how much longer do you have left to film?
Hit yourself.
So let's just get one thing straight, okay? Because I can't do this for too much longer if you're not going to do your fucking job properly now, can I? Do it properly, yeah? Do it properly. I don't know. I think about 2, maybe 3 more months, I think. Not really too sure.
Is Tim stringing you along?
He's an artist. Artists do, you know, they sort of, for him it's quite
I guess
a creative...
the longer that he, you know, the longer he keeps you doing it, the more he's going to bring this.
The harder it's going to be to
character.
go back, yeah, the harder it will be to go back, yeah.
The better you're going to be for what he wants.
Well, indeed, yeah. Hopefully I should be able to get a lot better, you know,
It's
in
really
terms
hard
of
for
the
you.
whole... Well, I mean, sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. Other times I find it very, very easy. You know, it's sort of the two personas, and sometimes I'm the clown, whatever. But, you know, you asked before, you said about, you know, the different sides of the personality, and
What about the romance? I mean,
I miss
obviously,
romance, yeah.
and obviously, trust is a big, you know, a big part of this. When it comes
Well, I
to
don't
the
trust
romance.
any of them.
But that's Jay thinking. That's not you thinking, Johnson.
But yeah, I mean, he's crazy, Jay.
Well, Johnson, thank you for that. Do you want to, you know, show us around the place? I really enjoyed my time with Johnson Johnson. I had no concept of the professionalism and expertise involved in this project. Hearing about some of the sacrifices Johnson has made sent a shiver down my spine. Although troubled and clearly affected by the training, I left convinced that he is making a wonderful contribution to the rehabilitation of damaged souls.
Who's gonna tell you when